Hello everyone, and welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. I hope you're feeling that same bright energy we love so much around here, because today's episode is one of those that stirs the heart and lights up the comments section. We're diving into the world of two names that have captivated millions, Barış Baktaş and Yagmmer Yüksel. Yes, that duo. The couple who, with just a look, can send social media into a frenzy. And today, after a long stretch of keeping things close to the vest, Yagmmer has finally let us peek behind the curtain with a set of comments that have everyone talking. Before we dive into the details, a quick reminder that subscribing to Secrets Behind the Stars is completely free, and it's the simplest way to make sure you never miss what's coming next. Tap that button, turn on the notifications, and you'll be the first to know when we drop new content. Now, let's get to the good part. What's made waves across Turkish entertainment, spreading from local headlines to global fan pages, is that Yagmmer chose a recent public appearance to let a little more light into the private world she shares with Barış. These weren't dramatic confessions or anything designed to shock. What she shared came out in a few carefully chosen remarks that reporters quickly picked up, then entertainment outlets compiled with the precision of people who know how much these details mean to the fans. And through those moments, we've seen something deeper: how two people, constantly watched and often misunderstood, have kept their connection not only intact, but thriving. You and I have been on this ride together from the very first hints. Ever since Yagmmer and Barış first crossed paths on set and their on-screen spark spread beyond the script, the public couldn't help but imagine them together in real life. The glances, the timing, the rhythm of their scenes. It felt effortless, natural, magnetic. It wasn't just chemistry for the camera. It was that rare electricity that feels honest, like a secret language shared between two people who didn't have to say much to say everything. And, let's be real, the audience wasn't wrong. Their relationship blossomed, even as they worked hard to shelter it from the noise. They've always been strategic about privacy, stepping away from the constant hum of flashbulbs when they could, and going silent when it mattered. But fame can be relentless, and love, when exposed to 1,000 interpretations, needs care. Every now and then, public affection and media pressure nudged them to share small glimpses. Little gestures, a hand held at the wrong time for the right reason, the kind of smile that can't be rehearsed. And today's reveals, as small as they might seem, feel like a gift, confirming what fans suspected, that what exists between them is anchored in something strong. So, what exactly did Yagmmer say? The comments came during a Q&A at an industry event, the kind where every answer gets recorded, replayed, and dissected. Slowly, with her refined calm, she unpacked what Barış represents in her life. She talked about that one thing only people inside this world truly understand. How exhausting it can be to live under constant evaluation. To have your good days magnified, your bad days misread, and your private moments never entirely your own. For her, being with someone who understands that isn't just helpful, it's essential. She didn't put it in big, dramatic phrases, but the meaning was crystal clear. It's such a relief, she hinted, to be with a person who knows what the spotlight takes from you and what it gives back, who understands the adrenaline of a set, the weight of expectations, the empty space that follows a long day. That, she suggested, is where the bond becomes unshakable. There is an unspoken rhythm between them, an "I see you" that happens without a lecture or an explanation. And anyone who's watched them together knows that rhythm is real. But there was something even more compelling nestled in her words: how they've kept love steady through the storms. She emphasized respect and communication like they were sacred. She acknowledged the fans' affection, and believe me, she truly appreciates it, while also saying that they learned, with time and with experience, to draw boundaries. Not walls, not doors slammed shut. Just a clear line that says, "This part belongs to us." It's overwhelming at first, she admitted. The pressure to open every window, to let everyone see everything. But then you realize you're allowed to have a bubble. You're allowed to keep a few chapters private. You're allowed to look at each other and simply live, without turning every heartbeat into content. And inside that bubble, they talk. A lot. Not the performative kind of talking that looks good in interviews, but the everyday kind that builds trust one conversation at a time. There was more, and it was beautiful. Yagmmer spoke about how Barış inspires her, not just as a partner, but as a person. She described his energy as electric and focused, the kind that makes you brave enough to try and generous enough to fail. She talked about how the way he approaches work and life makes her want to be sharper, kinder, freer. It wasn't a speech, but a gentle confession, that being beside him pushes her to be a better version of herself, and that he does so without demanding anything in return. That kind of influence is rare. And it says everything about what they are together. Of course, the subject of rumors came up, how could it not? In the orbit of celebrity, whispers are constant. But with a light smile and a practiced serenity, she explained that they've developed selective hearing. Not ignorance, not denial, just clarity. If you know who you are, if the person you love knows who you are, and if your closest circle understands the truth, then the static fades. It stings at first, because they're human, because words stick. But the hurt becomes manageable when you're standing shoulder to shoulder. There's a quiet courage in that, a refusal to let noise rewrite a story that only they can tell. And if you were waiting for a romantic reveal, you got one, though it arrived in the simplest way. She talked about the things they treasure most, not the red carpets or the glossy events, but the small rituals. Making dinner at home. Picking a movie and arguing playfully over the choice. Leaving their phones in another room for a while and just catching up on the day. Going for late-night walks when the city is softer and the air is kind. Those moments, she hinted, are where love gathers itself again. For people living at a public pace, ordinary time becomes sacred. Those minutes are where they remember why they chose each other in the first place. And then, the hint that sent fans into orbit. When asked whether they might collaborate again, she didn't give dates or titles. She didn't need to. She just said the kind of sentence that hangs in the air and keeps hope alive. You never know what the future brings, but they'll keep backing each other in every step. It wasn't a promise, but it wasn't nothing. For those who dream of seeing them share the screen once more, it sounded like the softest bell, ringing somewhere in the distance, saying, "Watch this space." What shines through all of this, brighter than any rumor, is the foundation. Respect, openness, trust, and consistent support. None of those make headlines, but together they make something stronger than gossip. It's clear that they've chosen intention over impulse, tenderness over performance, and that they're navigating fame with the kind of quiet strategy that protects what matters most. For anyone who has followed their journey from those first sparks to this calmer glow, these reflections feel like a confirmation that love can survive the spotlight without losing its soul. So, what do we take from all of this? That Yagmmer and Barış continue to write their story on their own terms. She's shown us the value of having a partner who understands the grind and the glare, the wisdom of setting boundaries, and the beauty of ordinary time. She's reminded us that inspiration can be a daily gift, and that the way you handle noise says a lot about the strength of what you've built. And she's left the door open, just a little, to the possibility of something new together, professionally or otherwise, which is more than enough to keep fans dreaming. Thank you for spending this time with us and for letting Secrets Behind the Stars walk with you through this chapter of their story. Tell me what you felt hearing her words. Did the calm in her voice surprise you? Did you sense the solidity behind those gentle phrases? Drop your thoughts below. I read everything, and I love seeing the different ways you interpret these moments. If this episode moved you, give it a like, it helps more than you know, and share it with other fans who care about this couple as much as you do. And if you haven't already joined our family, now is the perfect moment. Subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars, turn on that bell, and stay close. There are more stories coming, more insights, and always, more heart. Until next time, take care, stay kind, and keep your eyes on the stars. You never know what tomorrow will reveal.